surpass Kobe as the second highest scoring player in the history of the game. I mean, damn.
83, incredible. Incredible.
He ended up with 83 points, second all-time to Wilt Chamberlain, surpassing Kobe's 81 points.
I still don't know how to talk about this. This is absurd. I can't believe what I just witnessed. Because Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points in an NBA game is the kind of headline you read twice. Then you check if your phone has bad signal.
83 points for Bam Adebayo. He will come out.
And then you see it's real. March 10th, 2026. Miami beats Washington 150 to 129. Bam puts up 83, second most in NBA history behind Wilt's 100. Kobe's 81 just got pushed down the list. And before we get into it, those who are not subscribers, almost all of you watching still aren't subscribed, which is kind of wild. Subscribe to NBA Inside and drop a comment telling me what you want next, because I'm always reading those next for the next video idea. Alright, first thing, I need you to feel how absurd this setup is. Bam Adebayo is not supposed to be the guy who threatens the all-time scoring list. He's an all-star, he's a defensive anchor, he's the guy you trust to switch, to cover for mistakes, to make the right pass out of a short roll. He's not the guy you pencil in for maybe 83 tonight. If somebody asked me last week who was going to break Kobe's record, I would have said Shai Donovan Mitchell, maybe even Jokic in some weird triple overtime game, or Devin Booker on a heater. Not Bam. Before this game, Bam's career high was 41. 41. So he didn't just have a big night, he broke the career high before half time.
Here's Bam. Got fouled. It goes.
That almost never happens with an established veteran. Rookies do weird stuff. Random bench guys get hot and hit 9 threes. A proven veteran more than doubling a career high is the type of thing that makes players on the other team stop stretching and stare at a phone. And that's exactly what's happened. This turned into a league-wide live event. Now, here's what makes this even crazier. This wasn't a slow build where he had 18 at halftime and then got hot. He had 31 points in the first quarter. Type of thing that happens when I put some player under my parlay. Bam finished with 83 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5 turnovers in 42 minutes. He shot 20 of 43 from the field, 7 of 22 from 3, and 36 of 43 from the free throw line. And that free throw number is not just a lot, he attempted 43 throws, which is an all-time single game record, and he made 36, which is also a record. So you already know what the internet did. Half the timeline screamed legend, the other half screamed fake 80. And honestly, I get why both sides exist, because 83 points is 83 points. It's still the second highest total ever, but 43 free throws is also 43 free throws. That is a whistle so loud it needs its own microphone. Here's where I land on the free throws, because I don't want to be vague.
81. He has tied the late Kobe Bryant.
I watched the way Washington defended him, and I didn't come away thinking these calls are wrong. I came away thinking the Wizards are just fouling him over and over. Late hands, reaches, bodying him when he's already in the air, swiping down when he's gathered, grabbing to stop the finish. They were basically turning every tough Bam touch into a bailout foul because they couldn't hold position without panicking. So if you want to argue that's a lot of free throws, sure, but I'm not buying the idea that the refs gifted him 43 attempts out of nowhere. Washington gave him those attempts by fouling and fouling. So let's talk about what actually happened without doing a play-by-play bedtime story. The game had 2 tracks running at the same time. Track 1 was Bam playing out of his mind. Track 2 was Miami and the arena realizing pretty early that something historic was on the table. Bam had 43 by halftime, which means he had passed his career high before the third quarter even got comfortable.
And he throws it away that time. Oh, Drew Smith stole it! There it is!
If you're Miami, what do you do at that point? Do you pretend you don't see it? Do you run your normal offense and act like the number isn't sitting there in giant neon lights? Or do you lean into it? Because this is the NBA and you might never get this chance again. Miami leaned into it, and Washington didn't have an answer, which is where the controversy starts. Because the Heat were up big, and Bam stayed the focal point deep into the game. So people called it stat padding. But here's the thing, if you've watched the league long enough, you've seen this movie before. Devin Booker's 70 in 2017 came with "Why are you doing this?" in a lost discourse. David Robertson's 71 in 1994 came with "You're fouling to get him more possessions" discourse. Even Wilt 100 has stories about keep finding him because at some point the number becomes the game. So Bam's 83 slides into the same category. A historic night plus a very obvious awareness of the historic night. And that's why the reactions are so split. Now, I want to give you the most honest version of my reaction. I've watched a lot of basketball. I've seen 60s and 70s and Lucas 73 and Embiid 70 and all the modern scoring explosions. I have never seen Bam Adebayo walk into the Kobe neighborhood like this. That's the part that still feels fake, because Bam's whole career has been about impact that doesn't need 30 shots. He usually impacts the game by being everywhere, not by being the entire scoreboard. So for him to suddenly look like a pure scoring machine is straight up crazy, and it forces a question that I didn't think I'd ever ask.
Points in the history of the NBA by an individual player. In the Bam! Yes! And the foul!
Was this the ultimate out-of-body game? Or did we miss a gear in Bam's scoring for years because Miami never needed him to play this way? That's where the conversation gets interesting. Because if it's just a one-night glitch, then it's a cool museum piece. If it's a sign that Bam can flip into high-volume scorer mode when the matchup and whistle line up, then teams have a new problem to think about. Also, Bam still hit 7 threes. He didn't just live at the line. He took 22 threes. He made 7, which is another reason this felt surreal. Bam taking 22 threes in one night feels like someone changed the settings.
You just never know what's in store. Yes, sir! How about some more?
Now let's zoom out. Where does 83 land historically? We all knew the top of the list, Wilt 100, Kobe 81, then the modern wave. Now Bam is sitting at 83, right behind Wilt and ahead of Kobe. That is a sentence I still don't like saying. And the most emotional detail from the night is that his mum and AJ Wilson were there in the building when he crossed the line. That's a real life moment, not a sports moment. You can clown the free throws all you want, but you don't forget a night where your mum is watching you do something that only Wilt did better. Now, here's the part that makes this story bigger than just Bam. This game sits right on top of the modern scoring boom. The league has been trending toward bigger and bigger point totals, more spacing, more threes, more possessions, more free throws, more teams willing to trade defense for offense. So part of me isn't shocked that we got another monster scoring night. I'm shocked it was Bam, because if you asked me which Heat player was most likely to join Wilt and Kobe territory, I'm not saying Bam first. I might not say Bam 10th, and that's why this performance hit so hard. It didn't follow the script your brain expects.
Bam! Your 83 points are the second most scored points in a single game in NBA history.
Now, let's hit the "was it fake" debate head on, because it's going to dominate the comments anyway. Here's my stance. If your only argument is it was a blowout, then fine, you can call it padded. But you also have to keep that same energy for the other historic nights that had teams bending the game toward the number, because that's part of how these nights happen. They become a chase, and the chase becomes the story. If your argument is it was free throw heavy, that's fair too. It changes the feel of the number. Kobe's 81 had 20 free throw attempts, Bam had 43. That's not a small difference. But free throws still count. Nobody is putting an asterisk next to the record book, so it becomes a taste argument, not a facts argument. And honestly, taste arguments are where sports lives. Now let's talk legacy, because this is where Miami fans are going to get loud. What does this do for Bam? It changes how people talk about him forever. For years, Bam has lived in the elite defender, great teammate, very good scorer tier. Now he owns a piece of NBA history that sits above Kobe. Even if you hate how it happened, you can't erase it. And it also puts him in a weird category. The guy who had one of the most shocking scoring explosions ever. Because this wasn't a scoring champion doing scoring champion things. This was a defensive anchor going full video game. Now, I'm going to give you a question I genuinely don't know the answer to yet. Is this a one-night miracle? Or is this the start of a version of Bam that gets more aggressive as a scorer the rest of the season? Because once you prove you can reach this level, it changes your mindset. It changes how your teammates trust you. It changes how defenses react. Even if he never gets close to 83 again, he just forced every scouting report to add a line. Do not assume he'll stop at 25, and that matters. So here's what I want from you. Do you treat this as a pure historic masterpiece, no notes, because 83 is 83? Or do you put him in the Booker 70 and Robinson 71 category where the number is real, but the way the night got shaped matters to you? And if you think the free throws make it less impressive, tell me where your line is. Because if you tell me anything over 25 free throws doesn't count, I'm going to laugh. But I'm also going to respect the commitment. Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to NBA Inside if you're still watching every video and refusing to subscribe like it's a personality trait. And tell me what you want next, because this season keeps getting weirder and I'm not pretending I'm calm about it.